For today's video, we're going to be ranking the most controversial YouTuber moments of 2025. For the tier list rankings, we have career ended, PR nightmare, recoverable, minor L, and undeserved. And at the end of the video, one of these is going to go into the S++ tier as beyond redemption, as the worst of the worst controversy in 2025. Starting off the video, we've got Clavicular running a stalker over in his Cybertruck. Clavicular is a looksmaxing creator, with looksmaxing absolutely blowing up and going mainstream in 2025. The main person in this movement is Clavicular, who is known for meth maxing, taking meth to reduce his appetite and get lean, or bone smashing, hitting yourself in the face with like a hammer or punching yourself in the face to induce some zygomatic bone bullshit. I have no idea. But earlier this year, he went insanely viral for running over a stalker in his Cybertruck. On the surface, this looks pretty insane and almost hard to argue. But when you look at it, this person had been stalking him for weeks. And a few weeks ago, he also got into a slight altercation with Clavicular where he threw water on him, and the entire month of December, Clavicular had basically been stalked by this low-life loser who just tries to harass streamers and go viral just by trying to piss streamers off and get some viral moment. Clav was in Miami. During that same stream, he was getting pressed by like some other black guy for his use of the N-word. These guys were trying to fight him. Clav was trying to back away and leave the situation. As Clav tries to leave the situation in his Cybertruck, this bum jumps on the hood of his car. Clav was clearly annoyed at this point because he'd been getting harassed for an entire month and they'd also been trying to fight him. In the heat of the moment, he kind of ran this guy over, literally bone smashing his fucking legs. After this, people would go on to find clips of this guy pulling up to Clav's house in Miami where Clav pulled a gun on him. People started digging into it and realized that this guy who he ran over is basically like a serial stalker of all these different kinds of Twitch streamers, big ones and small ones as well. Looking at it, that guy kind of deserved it. You're on the hood of the car, you've been stalking a guy for a whole month, pulling up to his house, and not only his house, a friend of Aiden Ross as well named Sweater, he pulled up to his grandma's house as well while he was off stream. And this guy's just been harassing so many streamers for months now, even people like Neon who people don't like, but they don't deserve to get harassed and stalked for months on end. I'm honestly gonna put as minor L. This was insanely viral. This is probably the most viral thing that's happened to him. The publicity he's gonna get from this, and a lot of people, when you look into it, were actually on his side, and it was actually a pretty funny situation. I'm pretty sure this video's got like over 30 million views on Twitter. But moving on, we're going to be talking about Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Obviously, Jake Paul getting his jaw broken. I don't know about controversial, but this was a very, very big moment just earlier in December. People finally got what they've been wanting to see, which is Jake Paul getting dropped. The fight was kind of boring. Jake did a lot of running. Everyone got the TKO at the end. Now, I was a little disappointed. I did want to see him get knocked out cold on the floor. I don't want to see a TKO. I don't want to see none of that. I wanted to see one clean punch and Jake unconscious on the floor, which we still haven't seen. I don't know when we'll be able to see that. And the memes that came out of this situation as well were hilarious. The hamster meme, the Jake breaking his jaw, the memes that came from that, the memes of Anthony Joshua smiling at him before delivering the knockout punch. So many great memes that came from this moment, and everyone got what they've been waiting for, which was Jake Paul losing, and not just losing, getting fucking demolished. We're gonna put minor L, honestly, for Jake. Jake made 90 million, AJ made 90 million. Again, the amount of publicity, the amount of views this got, it's a minor L for it. It's like a W for Jake. It really like he is, because everyone's like, look, you're brave, you stepped in the ring with AJ, you got pumped, but you got in the ring with AJ, you made shit tons of money. So it's not really a L for Jake. He's got more respect and cred. But for the next person, Andrew Tate, the complete opposite happened. Jake chose the toughest opponent he possibly could have, and Andrew Tate cherry picked his opponent and chose the easiest opponent for his fight that took place the very day after Jake Paul. Andrew Tate chose Love Island star Chase Demore, who's taller and bigger and younger, but way less inexperienced. If you look at some of the clips from his fights, bro, you could give a 7-year-old downy kid gloves, put a fucking blindfold on him, give him 14 shots of vodka, and he'd be able to throw punches better. I'm not even kidding, bro. Some of these punches I'd seen, the worst, I couldn't even believe it, bro. I could not even believe what I was seeing. And Andrew Tate chose to fight this guy at heavyweight with a weight limit and drained him down. And this, I must say, was the worst fight I've ever seen. Andrew looked like shit. Talk about losing aura. This guy's been going on for years, bragging about being a kickboxer, 4-time world champion. I ain't see 4-time nothing. World champion of talking. That's what Andrew Tate should be labeled as. 4-time world champion of fucking talking, bro. I don't know how he got his kickboxing championship, because this was awful, bro. You could tell all the cigars he'd been smoking got to him. No cardio. He got gassed within the first round. No defense. You would not believe the guy is a professional fighter. I don't know where he got his fucking credentials from, but this was the worst fight I've ever seen in my life, especially considering he tried to cherry pick the easiest opponent he possibly could. He he should have pumped this guy. I lost respect for Andrew Tate after this. Like, the guy talks, but bro, when it comes to fighting, like, you know, you're only as good as your last performance. This was genuinely awful. He was on his knees. He was just eating clean shots to the face. I mean, if Chase was even half decent at boxing, Andrew Tate would have been knocked out and put to sleep. This is not what you expect from a quote-unquote four-time world champion. So we're going to put career ended, because the aura loss, the amount of people that sat there, listened to this guy talk for 4 years and saw this abysmal performance. There's YouTubers that I seen fight better than Andrew Tate. Deji fights better than Andrew Tate, man. I'm not even kidding. I wish I was joking right now. Deji fights better than Andrew Tate. That is a massive L, bro. That is a huge L. Career ended, bro. This is just pathetic. And the way he responded after the fight, saying God wanted me to lose and this was God's choice and maybe I wasn't. Shut the fuck up, man. You were trash. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about this no more. We're going to be moving on to Tyler Oliveira Hoop Festival in India. I think this is for like Diwali or something, where in some village in India they throw shit around. You know, being Indian, this is not a good look. This is a big L. Being Indian, 2025 is an L. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit of an L. I can't even lie. I thought like all the videos I was seeing of this festival were AI. I was like, there's no way this is real. There's no way these guys are throwing around cow shit. There's no way they're dancing around throwing cow shit at each other. But they were. And in the video, he goes on to show that, you know, one guy claimed that you eat the cow shit and it cures cancer. You know, all sorts of crazy shit, man. And he literally ate the cow shit, which I couldn't believe. He picks it up, eats it. Bro, that is disgusting. That is disgusting. I can't believe motherfuckers are doing shit like that. Throwing the cow shit. There was kids in there as well, bro. There was kids playing with cow shit, throwing it at each other. He got an insane amount of hate. He got called a racist. It's not fucking racist, bro. That is the most insane thing I've ever seen. People throwing cow shit, claiming it's got healing properties, which is outrageous. And he was getting like so many calls from like call centers. He was on news headlines and shit. This, we're going to put undeserved. He did not deserve the hate he got for that. You know, it's just journalism at the end of the day. If you're going to get mad at him for talking about some cow shit throwing festival, like, bro, maybe you got to put a fucking ban on that. Like, that should be made illegal in the country. To one, have that much hoard of shit lying around. Two, throwing it around, especially in the vicinity of kids, or just throwing it around in general. But why the fuck you throwing it around? I can't believe why you throwing it around. That's the most mad shit I've ever seen. I will never be able to get over that, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest L of 2025. It's throwing around cow shit, and being Indian, bro, that's like an L. I can't even lie, bro. Biggest L of 2025 being associated with that shit. Literally, like, no pun intended. That's outrageous. But we're going to be moving on to Akash Singh, another Indian on the list. You know what I'm saying? Indians taking L's left, right, and center. 2025, not a good year for us. You know what I'm saying? This man was getting clowned relentlessly, especially by people in like the red pill space, like Myron Gaines and all that. But just in general, by like some of the videos his wife was posting a few years back. She basically got caught in a web of lies. She said that she was a virgin when she met him, but then there were videos of her talking about like having rosters or like wanting to get piped down, all sorts of crazy shit. Then he went on the Flagrant podcast, which he's a co-host on. They went to clear up all the drama around this whole situation where she played dumb. She tried to act like she didn't know what she was saying when she clearly did. Like, there's no way, there's no line about that. Considering these guys are comedians and the Flagrant podcast, they're all comedians. They try to make a joke of the situation, but it really wasn't, because you could tell at his face he was fuming at his wife. There were also videos going viral of the way she treats him. He gives her like some fucking expensive engagement ring and she doesn't kiss him, or she's just like using him for his money because like, look at the guy, he's a bit clapped. You know what I'm saying? L Indian genetics right there as well, and all sorts of shit, like the way she's treating him, the way she's talking to him. Yeah, we're gonna put PR nightmare because it really was a PR nightmare. Low-key, and might go career ender. We'll see at the end of the video. This situation got tons and tons and tons of publicity, especially like by people like Myron Gaines who were just cooking him. Yeah, this was just a massive like L. Massive L. You're some rich famous comedian getting treated like that. We saw from the Logan Paul, Nina, Dylan Dennis situation. We saw from the Will Smith fucking situation, like your wife can ruin your reputation and your name. Literally, bro, you gotta pick him better. I can't believe he was letting her post shit like that. I can't believe it. Like he was oblivious to that shit. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be moving on to the Ashton Hall versus Speed. This is when Ashton Hall raced Speed and lost like 4 times in a row. This went insanely viral because obviously Ashton Hall famous for dunking his face in fucking water and making those morning routine videos. And a part of those videos is him putting on a weight vest and sometimes running alongside cars and dogs. For someone his size, for the amount of muscle mass he has, he runs extremely quick. He runs very quick. He thought he could beat Speed and he almost did. Like, it was really, really close. When you factor in, he probably weighs like 30-40 pounds more than Speed. That is insane how he managed to keep it that close considering the weight difference. That wasn't the issue. The issue wasn't that he lost. It was the fact he couldn't accept the defeat. He kept on asking for one more shot, one more shot, one more shot. At one point, like, he tripped and fell over and he said like the grass was the problem. So then they went to run on like the paved road and he lost again, and he tried to get head starts and he lost again, and he just kept losing to Speed and he was in denial, begging for one more chance. The way he handled the L wasn't good, which is why he got memed. Like, if he lost, they raced once or twice twice and he took it on the chin and say, yeah, look, you're faster than me, it probably would have been like it would have got a tenth of the publicity that it did. But the fact he couldn't accept his defeat made it even worse. So we're going to put PR nightmare. Maybe career ended, because it was really a bad look for him. Moving on, we're going to be talking about the Gooner side. Now this guy, I don't even want to laugh because it's kind of fucking crazy, but he was caught in a drive-through with his dick out wanking. And he the worker at the drive-through, this might have been like a routine thing, because she goes up to the car already filming and you can see his dick is out. And then once he realized it happened, he just drove away. He ended up committing suicide, and after the situation went insanely viral, you know, people found out that he had a family and kids. Like literally he was married, he had a wife and kids, and then like his cousins and shit were posting on Facebook about like how sad they were about his death and all that. And Bo committed suicide, but like the whole situation is crazy. The whole situation is crazy. He was caught, you know, with a meat out in the car, red-handed. Like this is the worst situation you could possibly be in. Imagine his family, how they feel after. But I mean, this has to go career ended. This has to go career ended, because it literally did end. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, man. You got to be able to control those urges. Lust is literally a sin. You got to be able to control that shit, especially like, bro, in the comfort of your own home. I get it, you know what I'm saying? But when you're doing it in the car, in a drive-through, and the fact that he's probably done this multiple times, because she was already out filming. So this might have been his second, third, fourth pass, you know what I'm saying? And then he committed suicide because of it. And I probably would too if I was him, like that desperate while you're married. So that is crazy. That's crazy. And that has to go career ended. Moving on, we're going to be talking about Vitaly ZDTV, OG prankster turned into a fucking menace. Now, Vitaly had a pretty good comeback. You know, he was on Kick doing these pedophile catches with, you know, rappers like Lil Pump. I think he done one with like Akon, or, you know, like Who Changed or some shit. I don't know. He was doing it with some rappers, and it was funny. They like spray paint their hair and like slap them and shit, or like get boxing gloves and like fight them. Then he decided to go to the Philippines and cause havoc there, like a lot of these streamers are doing, kind of like the Johnny Somali method, go viral, where he went to the Philippines and he harassed the old lady saying he was going to rob her. Then he goes and starts harassing a security guard, snatches his hat, and just being a fucking menace in a country that he doesn't belong in, or like, you know, he's visiting. And he got arrested for disorderly conduct. Now he's sitting in jail, facing up to 18 months in prison. He's been sitting in jail for like over 6 months awaiting trial. He could be looking at 18 months in a Philippines prison, which we know the conditions are like dog shit. It's like 50 people in a cell, hot as fuck, humid as fuck, like the food is shit, the water shit, like bathrooms, like I don't even want to know about it. And he's already been sitting there for 6 months. We don't know how long it's going to take for his case to go to trial. It's not looking good, and this is a lesson to all those like streamers who go to Japan or go to the Philippines or whatever other countries to like clip farm and cause havoc. You know, that shit, and those governments don't play around, they don't fuck around. And Vitaly is learning firsthand how much of a fucking nightmare it can be, because now he's been sitting in fucking Philippines jail, which he deserves it. I mean, he's the one that punched like an old lady a few years back when he fucking void raged. So this is going career. We got a lot in career ended. We really do. Next up, we've got Rampage Jackson's son, Raja Jackson, punching the shit out of a wrestler while he was unconscious. Now, this all happened on stream when he showed up to this wrestling tournament live on stream, and he got into a little altercation with this wrestler, who the wrestler thought Raja was part of the act, and he like hits him in the head with like a beer can, and then there was a small little altercation, but they kind of talked it through and it fizzled out. One of the guys said, hey, look, if you want to get back at him as part of the show, when they're wrestling, you can go in and slam him on the ground as his get back. People in the chat started saying he got bitched while he was sitting there waiting for the wrestling thing to go on and for him to get in, and people like, oh, you got bitched, you're a pussy, you're a bitch, this, that. It didn't help that he got like concussed a day before while sparring, so he was not in the right mental space. His time comes to jump in the wrestling ring and slam this guy on the ground, and he slams this guy on the ground, goes unconscious, and he fucking punches him on the floor, ground and pound like 20 times. And this guy's like trained in MMA. His dad's literally fucking Rampage Jackson, like UFC champion. And that guy ended up having to go to hospital. I think he ended up being alright at the end, but he did have to spend some time in hospital, and getting punched that many times or unconscious could literally kill you or cause permanent brain damage. So it's like very lucky that, you know, he got away fine. But Raja Jackson didn't, because the internet absolutely exploded. Now, Raja Jackson did get arrested, and he's facing a potential 7 years for egregious bodily harm. He's currently awaiting trial. He was held on like a $50,000 bond, which I'm pretty sure like his dad paid because he's got money. If he's convicted, it's 7 years for, you know, one lapse in judgment. Yeah, I mean, this whole situation is just fucked. Like, the kid is not right in the head. There were also many clips of like his dad like calling him a bitch and a pussy, which people were saying like could have contributed to this, and like the chat as well getting to his head. So yeah, I mean, 7 years potentially he's looking at if he's convicted. That's career end right there, career ended. And last but not least, we've got the Hassan Piker situation where he shocked his dog on live stream, and people found out that his dog had a shock collar. Now this situation went insanely viral. You know, there were internet detectives trying to figure out if it was a shock collar, and he denied it, saying it was like a vibration one. And you know, the many people came out like looking at the photos. They found the exact model and found out that there was detachable prongs that could be used to shock the dog. And he was saying like it was like something for an air tag or vibration motor or whatever the fuck. You know, many streamers came out in his defense, sucking his dick like, oh no, he treats his dog amazing and all this bullshit. Yeah, I mean, this was a back and forth. He to this day denies this whole situation, like it wasn't a shock collar and he would never use a shock collar, and he removed the prongs. You know, at first it's not a shock collar, then oh, it is a shock collar, but he removed the prongs. So, you know, that he got caught lying. What else are they going to lie about? And it was just unnecessary, like to shock his dog for no reason. I don't know why you'd put a shock collar on a dog when it's just sitting in the back of your stream doing fucking fuck all, basically. I want to put PR Nightmare because it doesn't belong at the top of some of those, you know what I'm saying? But it's also not recoverable because like it's a fucking dog. You're putting a shock collar on, and the situation did get pretty big. So I think this one deserves to be in PR Nightmare because it was a PR Nightmare. Now, only one of these is going to go into the S++ as Beyond Redemption as the worst controversy in 2025. And we've got some serious contenders in this career ended section. Even PR Nightmare, we've got like some top contenders. This is going to be a tough one. I think it's got to be Andrew Tate, simply because the amount of talking he done in the last 3-4 years, claiming to be top G, 4-time world champion kickboxer, and after all this hype, all this build up, we see him fight and he's a fucking trash can. Like the worst fight I've ever seen. After 3-4 years of nothing but talking, like look, he's a world champion at talking, probably not fighting though. I find that tough to believe. What organization? Like so many questions arise, considering he's probably the most famous person on this list, like the most hyped person on this list, the most talked about on this list aside from maybe like Jake Paul. And to give that kind of performance, Beyond Redemption. He said he trained hard, you know, he had a 4-month camp, like all this nonsense. To claim you're a world champion and put that kind of performance out, I don't give a fuck how old you are. Mike Tyson performed better than he did, like seriously, against better competition. That's been the video. If you liked it, watch another one on the screen, subscribe, and fuck off.